Hi everybody, Dr. Debbie Pates here. Facebook has introduced a new, easier live producer, but as we all know with new, easier things, the first time you use them, they're not easier at all. That's JD. He is struggling through these dog days. Hang on. Up. It's okay. Up. Good boy. He had to jump over my cord and he was a little bit weird about that. Anyhow, as you guys all know, this is virtual Wellness Wednesdays, virtual yoga at GOCA, and I have exciting news. Don't get too excited, but probably in the beginning of the semester, so sometime in August, we will be moving back to the Ent Center, to the Gallery of Contemporary Arts. Yay! So if you guys have only begun practicing with me online, it's a really, really wonderful experience to practice it in art gallery. You know, it helps ground, and there's lots of stuff that we can do there, including look at the neat artwork that is, there's a rotating exhibition that usually stays around for maybe a couple of months, maybe a semester, and then it'll change. So anyway, that's something to look forward to in the future. It probably will remain on Wednesdays, but that's a little bit uncertain as well. Anyhow, that's enough of me talking. It is hot outside, you guys. Wowie, wow, wow, wow. And it is officially summer, so let's get practicing some yoga. Come on into child's pose. Rest your head on the mat. And start to breathe in and out through your mouth or your nose. I actually meant to say through your nose. But you know what, since I said that, how about this? If this feels comfortable to you, take a few inhales through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. So one of the things that's kind of fun about practicing alone in your house is that you can do whatever silly stuff you want without feeling self-conscious. And ideally, we would get over that self-consciousness in a yoga class anyway. Try Kundalini, it'll definitely help with that. But maybe some deep sighs, letting go of whatever you don't need to hold on to right now. Allowing those deep sighs, or maybe just deeper exhales through your nose, to help ground you a little bit more deeply into this moment, creating the space for yoga. Acknowledging what it is that you're bringing to your mat today. Maybe you have air conditioning and you don't need to be outside in the heat, or maybe like me, you don't have AC. Or maybe you have something that happened to you in your life that is impacting you in either a positive or negative way, and that's going to show up, right? We only have so much energy. Perhaps you've been out exercising, doing things outside, gardening, and that might be showing up in your body. All of this is neither good nor bad, it just is. So allowing as best as you can your yoga practice to be a moving meditation by embodying the spirit of mindfulness. And mindfulness, by definition, is really being aware of the present moment without needing to change it or judge it, or as best as possible, not being reactive to it. Push up onto your hands and knees. That's how we turn our practice into a moving meditation. Cat-cows to start with, your hands underneath your shoulders, knees hip-width distance. And with your own breath, beginning to arch and round in one direction, and then the other, maybe on the cow. You inhale, that's the dipping, and then the arching like a scared cat. That's the exhale. Maybe you move a little bit side to side. Whatever feels good to you here. Just allowing your body to dictate. Let your mind listen to your body rather than forcing your body. to listen to your mind. And maybe, right, your body starts by listening to your mind, but then let your mind say, ooh, thank you, body, for that warning. Come on back to a neutral spine. Actually extend your left leg out behind you. Turn your left leg flat and roll onto your right palm and lift your left arm up. So a modified side plank to begin with. Just beginning to open through the side body. Bring your bicep by your ear and pull from the edge of your left foot to your left fingertips, and then come on up with your left hand. Bring your left hand down and lift up your left leg. Lift your right arm to meet it. Have your right arm, thumb facing up. And find the balance here, find the engagement. Maybe even finding a little bit of traction by reaching forward and back. And then exhale, curl, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach out, knee to elbow, curl, exhale. Reach out, knee to elbow, curl. Reach out and put it down, and let's just go ahead and switch sides. So right leg back, turn it flat, roll open onto your left hand. Lift your right arm up. First do it with your right arm reaching up. Maybe find a little bit of opening in your chest, checking in with how your chest muscles feel. And then reach your right arm over your head, bicep by your ear, pulling from the edge of your right foot to your right fingertips. Reach up, right arm down, right leg up, left arm up. Find the position, find the balance. Don't be in a hurry to get to the next place. Be here. It doesn't last that long, so be here now. And that's something we practice on our mat. And ready now, exhale, curl. Reach out, inhale, exhale, curl. Reach out, exhale. Inhale, exhale, curl. Inhale, reach out, lift, commit, put it down. Walk your hands forward a little bit. Tuck your toes and just lift up into downward facing dog. Rock forward. Check out that your hands are under your shoulders. So you want to be in a nice even high plank here. Hands underneath your shoulders, heels pushing back, and then send your butt back up into the air to be in downward facing dog. And if this is comfortable for you, perfect. Stay like this. You may want to walk your hands forward or feet back a little bit. You may want to walk your feet up, tightening, shortening your dog. There are different styles of yoga are going to teach different things. Baptiste yoga, for example, teaches a very wide down dog, which engages more muscles. It's less stable. In Ashtanga yoga, they tend to have a shorter downward facing dog. So none of these are right. The style of yoga that I teach borrows from a lot of these different styles, so it's a bit of an amalgamation. And hopefully I'm bringing you the best of all worlds. But so you know, one of the things that I take is, how can every single different way be right? It's kind of like religion, right? They're all right. They're all right if it's what works for you. And only you can be the arbiter of what works for you. And we practice that on the mat too. We practice what is right for me. Take a bunch of baby steps. Walk to the top of the mat. How can I be true to myself? Hang and ragdoll here. Feet hip width distance. Knees probably a little soft. Maybe bend your arms and tuck your hands into crook of opposite elbow or grab onto opposite elbow. Maybe sway, maybe wiggle your toes around a little bit. So we practice on the mat, touching base with and being true to what is true to me, what is right for me. Release your arms. And then we're able to do that. Clasp your hands behind your back.
Straighten your arms as best as you can, and as best as you can, lift them off your back overhead. And as always, right, make some extra movements here if that feels good to you, going side to side, perhaps bending your right knee, looking up over your left shoulder as you pull your hands to the right. And then switch sides. Bend your left knee, pull your hands to the left as you look up over your right shoulder. Come on back and release. So we practice on the mat. How is this, what's best for me? Inhale, halfway lift, so that we develop that skill to use off the mat. Forward fold, and then sweep your arms out and up. Rise up to standing. Bring your hands overhead. And pull some energy into your own heart. A lot of times the heat can make our heart rate higher. So we're going to practice slower today. All right? Inhale your arms up. Take care of yourself. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine, legs as straight as you want them to be. Forward fold. Sweep your arms up, rise with a flat back. Your stomach is engaged. Hands overhead, and pull your energy back into your heart. Maybe your stomach isn't engaged, but use that as a reminder to engage your stomach. Inhale your arms up, sweep them, lift them, whatever you like. Dive forward or hands through heart center. Always, always your choice. Halfway lift, inhale. And this time put your hands down and step back to high plank. Lower to chaturanga or all the way to the floor. Inhale. Upward facing dog or cobra. Roll over your toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. At any time, you guys, you can come back to this shape. You can come back to child's pose. You can take whatever shape feels right to you. So you use my words as suggestions, as a rough outline, and you fill it in a way that makes sense, mostly to your body, right? That makes sense to you and to your body. Look in between your hands and step, jump, hop. Make your way to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and then with a flat back, sweep your arms out, up, rise like a bubble to the surface, and pull some of that oxygen back into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, open, and then forward fold again. Exhale, close. Inhale, sweep your arms up, rise, and then bring your hands together and exhale your hands into your heart. So I've said this previously, but I want to say it one more time. In yoga, a lot of the time the opening movements are the inhale and the closing movements are the exhale. That's ideal. If that works for you, wonderful. If it doesn't work for you, please just use my breath cues as a reminder to breathe. So now, let's see. Inhale your arms back up. Dive forward. One more sun A, halfway lift up. Hands down and step back. High plank. You can always drop your knees in high plank. Lower, chaturanga, or the floor. Upward facing dog or cobra. Lift your hips. Roll over your toes or flip your toes over. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So it's summertime. A couple days ago was the solstice, longest day of the year. That's another thing. A lot of people are much more active at this time of year than we are at other times of the year. So maybe that's showing up in your body in tiredness or soreness or in any way, or maybe it's showing up in your body as energy. Right, but we're going to do a mandala flow. Seasons are a reminder that everything is always changing. So I love doing the circular flow. And if you haven't done it before, don't worry about it. We're going to take it slowly. Look in between your hands and step, jump, hop. Make your way to the top of your space. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. And then sweep your arms up, out, rise.
Bring your hands together over your head and pull it into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Utkatasana, chair. Tuck your pelvis a little bit in chair. So we're not trying to take the curve out of our backs, but we are also not trying to accentuate it. And then maybe sink a little bit lower. And look down at your knees and your feet. So your feet and your knees should be parallel to each other, or tracking over. Your knees should be tracking over your toes. So if your feet are separate, then try not to knock your knees in. Forward fold, Uttanasana, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, take it back, high plank. Interesting that in Sanskrit, halfway lift is actually halfway forward fold. Chaturanga, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift up your right leg and let your left heel continue to sink down. Have your right toes pointed down to start with. So an internal rotation of your hip. And notice how it feels in the back of your left leg, back of your left calf and Achilles. And then now allow your right leg to open up, stacking your hips, maybe making circles, maybe looking underneath your right armpit, maybe not making circles at all today, whatever feels right to you. And then lift your right leg back up, and let's just switch sides here. So first, lift up your left leg with your toes, especially your pinky toe, pointed at the ground. Right? So you're probably not going to lift your leg as high as you would if your hip is opening, but you may feel more intensity in the back of your right leg. So really we're just giving a little bit of energy, a little bit of love to the back of our right leg. And now open up your hip, circles or not. Maybe looking under your left armpit. And then bring your left leg back down. Shift into high plank. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. We're starting the mandala flow. Right foot comes through, low lunge. Spin your back foot flat and rise up, warrior one. A mandala is a circle. Open up. Actually, still hold warrior one for a minute. So the first time through, we'll do it a little bit more slowly, allowing you to find the shapes, allowing your body to open up into them, right? So it's hot out. The heat helps us open. That's one of the reasons why a lot of times yoga studios will heat the rooms. It helps us open. But be careful, especially if you're in a super heated room. Open up warrior two, because what can happen is we actually overstretch because the heat fools us. So be careful, be mindful. Warrior two, right arm is reaching forward. Reach your left fingers back. Track your right knee out, feeling an engagement in your inner right thigh. Reach forward, reach forward, reach forward. Take extended side angle. In whatever way suits you today. But your right arm is down, maybe resting on your right thigh. Your left arm is up. You can reach your left bicep by your left ear, getting that full body stretch again. Maybe your right arm is grabbing your right calf, or maybe it's even on the floor. And then you guys, here's what we're going to do. Straighten everything up. Turn your feet parallel, 5-pointed star. And then warrior two to the back of your mat. Left knee is bent. Left arm, reach forward, reach your right arm back. And then flip your left palm. Reach up and back. Reverse warrior. And then windmill down. Come to high plank. Facing the back of your mat. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breathing down dog. And we'll do that side again, making our way back to the top of our mat. It's funny, right? I mean, for me, when I practice at home, the front and back of the room are pretty flexible, variable. I don't know whether you chose, kind of like we choose the head of our bed, and we always
have our head there. Anyway, reach your right leg up and bring it through, low lunge. Use muscle, not momentum. Spin your back foot flat. Rise up, warrior one. Open, warrior two. Reach, extended side angle. Rise up, 5-pointed star. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Flip your left palm. Reverse your warrior. And windmill back down. High plank. Make your way to downward facing dog. So, always the option to skip the vinyasa. And then this time lift your left leg up. Go the other direction, mandala. Left leg through, right foot flat, rise up, warrior one. So monks, Buddhist monks make mandalas out of sand. If you've seen them, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. They're incredible pieces of art. Open up, warrior two. Reach your left arm forward. Track your left knee over your pinky toe. Have your right heel kicking out a little bit. So parallel to the back of your mat, or maybe a 45-degree angle, reach, extended side angle. Listen to your body. You know, I usually reach my arms down, but my legs are tired today, so I'm giving a little assist by leaning my forearm on my body, on my leg. Come on up, 5-pointed star. I don't know, you be the judge. Does that make me a bad person? Warrior two to the back of your mat. Flip your right palm. Reverse your warrior. The answer is no, of course it doesn't make me a bad person. Windmill your hands down. But we put that on ourselves, don't we? High plank to low plank. Upward facing dog. Two. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Step it through, low lunge. Right foot flat. Warrior one, back of your mat. Open up, warrior two. Reach, extended side angle. 5-pointed star. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Reverse warrior and take it down. High plank. Two, low plank. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Drop your knees. Stay, keep your toes tucked. Walk back up, toes pose. Especially important this time of year when we are outside, working out a whole lot more active, even if you're just walking a whole lot more. You know, in the winter, I'm generally like in bed by 7:30. And now I've even started making dinner at 7:30, you know? So we need to adjust to the rhythms in a whole bunch of different ways. And one of the ways is by giving extra love to our feet that take us through our days. Come on back. We're gonna do a mandala flow one more time, but we're gonna add a little bit. Lift your knees up, down dog. Lift your right leg up. Bring it through, low lunge. Right foot flat, warrior one. Clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your heart and bow. Humble warrior. Pause. Right shoulder on the inside of your right knee. Right hip can be tracking out a little bit, but not too much. And then rise back up. Warrior one, open, warrior two, reach, take extended side angle. 5-pointed star. And this time, turn your feet parallel to each other or even pigeon-toed. Tee your arms out. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and bow. Prasarita, wide-legged forward bend. Just allow your hands to maybe grab onto your ankles, or they can be in front of you on the floor. Whatever you like. We're going to do a couple different versions of this, so don't be in a hurry to move on. Rise back up. 5-pointed star. Warrior two to the back of your mat. Flip your left palm. Reverse your warrior. And windmill down. High plank. Make your way to downward facing dog. And then lift your right leg up again. And bring it through. This time, a little bit different. Instead of warrior one, rise to crescent moon. Pull your right hip crease back and let your left hip point come forward. Send your left heel to the back of your mat or the front of your mat, whatever side it is right now. Bring your hands together, bring them to your heart, and twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. And you can have your hands, you have your back knee on the floor. You can have your hands at your heart. You can open up your arms if that feels good to you. And then wherever you are, rise back up, crescent, open warrior two. Reach, extended side angle. 5-pointed star. Turn your feet parallel, and this time, clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and bow, allowing your hands to come off your back. So a lot of shoulder opening today. Maybe some of you guys are doing rowing, stand-up paddling, I don't know, swimming, a lot of swimming. That's good for strengthening, but also tightening. As we strengthen, we tighten. So yoga helps reverse that. Rise back up. Warrior two to the top of your mat. Reverse warrior. And windmill down. High plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Bring it through warrior one. Spin your right foot flat and rise. Humble warrior. Clasp your hands behind your back. Take the opposite grip if you remember what you did. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your heart. Celestial energy shining both directions. In and out. And bow. Humble warrior. So your left shoulder's on the inside-ish of your left knee. Left hip tucking in at least, kind of, sorta. You don't want to jut it out too far. And then rise back up. Warrior one. Open to warrior two. Reach. Extended side angle. Come on up. 5-pointed star. Tee your arms out. Put your feet parallel to each other and bow. Prasarita. This time, crawl over to your left leg. Have your right hand as best as you can on the outside of your left ankle. And maybe your left calf behind your left forearm behind your left calf. And you can even, if this is in your body here, you can rest your right ear on your right arm. Just getting a little twist here. And walk back to center. Tee your arms out, rise. Warrior two to the back of your mat. Reverse your warrior. Whoa, I just lost my balance. And windmill down. High plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Bring it through low lunge. And don't forget, this time we're going to do crescent. So keep your right heel lifted. Bring your left hip crease back a little bit and send your right hip point forward. Right heel pushes back. Maybe your right knee is straight. Maybe it feels better to have a little bend in your right knee. Bring your hands together to your heart, lean forward and then twist. And you can again take whatever hand position you like, maybe right arm reaching down, left arm reaching up. Maybe your back knee is on the ground. It's all up to you, it's all your choice. Whatever feels good, maybe experiment and see. Maybe you grab onto your plant like I seem to be doing. Rise back up, crescent, warrior two. Reach, extended side angle. 5-pointed star. Tee your arms out. Prasarita. And this time, walk over and try to grab behind your right calf with your right arm and the outside of your right ankle, perhaps with your left hand. Stretching, twisting, Little active rest in the middle of all of the movement. Then walk back to the middle. Tee your arms out. Rise with a flat back. A lot of core engagement front and back there. Warrior 2 to the back. Front of your mat. Reverse warrior. And windmill it down. Step back to high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. 2 downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bring it through low lunge. And right now, bring your hands to the inside of your right foot. Drop your left knee. Walk your right foot up a little bit toward the top corner of your mat. And runner's lunge. Coming down to whatever degree suits you. And remember, right? What suits your body, not your ego. So if your body is tighter than normal, you may not be able to go down as low as you often do. And that doesn't make you a bad person, right? Remember this. Notice where your mind goes. We're not bad people because we take different versions of a posture. In fact, maybe, well, I don't know if that makes us good people in the sense of virtuous, but it certainly makes us people who are a lot more attentive to our bodies. And this is the only body we get this go around, you know? Be good to it. I want my body to serve me for another 40, maybe if I get really lucky, 50 years. So I need to take care of it now. Come on up. And let's take Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. So straighten your right knee and send your hips back. And then walk your hands toward your right leg. If you could do splits, full splits, here, go ahead. Take that version if that would make you feel happy. Rebend your right knee. Tuck your left toes. Position your right foot wherever you need to do that. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, and come back into 3-legged dog. Lift your right leg back up and then bend your knee, open it up, and flip your dog or take wild thing. Bring your right foot to the ground. Reach your right arm back. Let it be free, reaching back, lifting your hips, and then come on back, 3-legged dog, and put your right foot down. I got a little wonky there, so find your down dog position again. Okay, be in down dog. Breathe in down dog. Life is happening right now. Be present for it. Lift your left leg up. Bring it through low lunge. Drop your right knee. Toe heel your left foot out. Hands on the inside of your left foot. And make your way into runner's lunge. Let the breath help you sink into these shapes. Let the time, let the heat, softening. And then Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Straighten through your left leg. Get as much as comfortable and maybe not fully straight. Walk your hands towards your foot as you send your hips back. Soften your jaw, soften your forehead. Rebend your knee. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Send your left foot back, high plank. To chaturanga, upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, fold. Sweep your arms up. Rise with a flat back. Bring your hands together overhead and pull your energy into your heart. Balancing, lift your arms up. Chair. Eagle. Right arm under, right leg up and over. Lift your elbows maybe in line with your shoulders. Maybe pull your hands away from your face. You'll probably feel that across your shoulders if you're struggling with balance. Place your right toes on the ground. If you're not struggling with balance, maybe sink a little deeper. Actually, you could sink a little deeper either way. Squeezing your thighs together. This is a compression pose. Sometimes really getting a good squeeze going helps with balance. And then unwind, release, stand all the way up. And again, chair to eagle, left arm under, left leg up and over. Squeezing thighs together, maybe elbows up by your shoulders, maybe moving your hands away from your face. So in balancing poses, we often want to have a drishti, a point of focus. But in eagle, often our arms are right in front of our face. So perhaps gently focusing on your own forearms or wrists. Release. Stand up. Bring your hands together overhead. And pull your energy into your heart. Let's do dancer. Lift your arms up. Bring your right elbow by your right rib cage. Palm facing up. And then just let your palm come down by your side. So you don't twist it or turn it. Your thumb is still facing the back. And with your thumb in that facing back kind of hitchhiker position, lift up your right leg, your right foot. Grab it from the inside. Bring your knees together and begin to kick. Kick your knee out straight. Try not to let it splay out to the side. Right leg going back. Right shoulder opening. Left arm actively reaching forward. Reaching and breathing. Kicking. And then when you're ready, release. And let's switch sides. Left elbow by your left rib cage. Palm facing up. Drop your left palm down. Your thumb is still facing backwards. Bend your left knee. Grab your left foot from the inside. Bring your knees back together and begin to kick into your left hand. It can be a beautiful shoulder opener here. It's also a back bend, which is a heart opener. If you've ever seen anybody do the full version of this, you can really see what a back bend it is. And whenever you're ready, release. And let's do tree Vrikshasana. Shift your weight into your left foot and bring the sole of your right foot to wherever you like. Maybe your right ankle is on your your right heel is on your left ankle. Maybe foot's flat on your shin. Maybe it's up on your inner thigh. You can even do the Ashtanga version and turn your foot up by your hip crease. Maybe you can leave it there and bring your hands to your heart. You can usually do it on one side and not the other. But none of these options is the correct one. The correct one is the one that feels right to you today. Interlace your fingers and lift your arms up, palms facing the ceiling. Breathing. The trees are in bloom now. When you're ready, release. Maybe you swivel your hips around if that feels good, and then back to center. Tree on the other side. Shift your weight into your right foot, right ankle on your left heel on your right knee ankle, perhaps. Left foot on your right shin, or bring your knee up, or take the Ashtanga version. And again, none of these are right. It's just what's right for you today. Or maybe I should say they're all right. They're all right. And you are all right, just the way you are. Interlace your fingers, lift them up, palms facing the ceiling. When you are ready, release. Nice job. Come back up to the top of your mat. Lift your arms up, inhale, exhale, forward fold. One more standing sequence here. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, come back to high plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bring it through, low lunge. Spin your back foot flat. Rise to warrior one. Open to warrior two. Straighten your right knee. Triangle Trikonasana. Reach and tilt. You don't want to have a lot of weight in your right hand. You can even, if you want, reach your right hand by your right ear and even reach your left arm by your right ear. That's a harder version, not a better version. Maybe a worse version for you today. Let's take airplane, or half moon. So when you're ready, launch. Maybe you have your right hand on a block or water bottle. Maybe you're hovering. Now bring your hands into your heart. Whoa. Turn your chest to face the earth, and now come into airplane. That left leg is still up. Bring your hands down. Standing splits. And let your left foot come back behind your right foot so that your pinky toes touch. You can soften your knees here. You can have your hands on a block, stretching through the sciatic nerve in the back of your left leg here. It can be pretty intense. And then release. Roll up to standing. Arms up overhead. Dive forward. Halfway lift. High plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Low lunge. Warrior one. Warrior two. Straighten your left knee, reach, triangle. So again, maybe you reach your left arm forward and your right arm to meet it. If you want to add a little intensity, but that's not a requirement. It doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you a better yogi. Bend your knee, launch into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. When you're ready, hands to your heart, turn your torso to the floor, take airplane. Notice if you're collapsing a little bit and recommit to engaging through back muscles in your body, and then release your hands down to the floor. Right leg lifts for a moment in standing splits, and then drop your right leg behind your left. Pinky toes touch. And bring your unwind and just drop your knees to the ground. In a kneeling position, untuck your toes, Virasana Hero's Pose. Sit in between your heels. And if you have it in you today, keeping your knees on the ground. Your knees can stay together or separate, but please keep them on the ground. Walk back. Maybe you stay upright. Maybe you walk your hands forward a little bit to take the intensity off of your knees. If you're laying all the way back on the floor, maybe grab elbows above your head. Deep, deep opening for the fronts of the thighs, the hip flexors. Spending a couple extra breaths here. Allow that opening to happen. And if you're not feeling a whole lot of opening and that's creating impatience in you, there's a great opportunity for yoga to happen as well, right? Because you notice that impatience coming up. Instead, turn it into a meditation. Quiet time. My dog is asleep and making crazy monster noises. Okay, come on up. Walk up. Walk onto your hands and knees. Shake out your right leg, your left leg. Doesn't matter which order you do it in. And then we'll do both. Let me check the time here. I'm good, okay. Bring your right knee forward and your left knee back. Let's just come on into pigeon. Okay, so just from this hands and knees position, make your way to pigeon pose. Kind of keep your weight centered. Your top of your left knee on the ground, top of your left foot on the ground. Your right knee is out. Your right foot is coming across your body toward the left. So a lot of times, right, this will be taught, have your shin parallel to the front of your mat, but that's really not accessible for a lot of people. But if it's accessible for you, then okay, bring your foot up toward your left armpit. Have your shin maybe parallel toward the top of your mat. Letting the heat of the day, the heat of the practice, the time we spend in this shape open you up. And let the opening in your body precede an opening in your mind. Opening to new ideas about yourself, about the world around you, about who you are in that world. Freedom. Come on up, and let's just switch. So maybe tuck your left toes and lift your left knee, come into high plank. Come into downward facing dog. Shift forward again into high plank, and then bring your left knee forward. Right knee down. Pigeon. I wanted to say something about the mandala, actually, that I don't want to forget, which is that these monks, I actually had the opportunity to see a mandala on several occasions being created. And it takes hours, I mean like days, it takes hours and hours and hours of meticulous work with this amazing, vibrantly colored sand. And the monks, they make these beautiful, elaborate and very large creations, circles, these beautiful circle designs in out of the sand. And the nature of these mandalas, they're created out of sand, and you don't shellac them afterwards or whatever, spray paint them into place. No, they're designed. All that work, they're designed to be impermanent. Come on up. It's an exercise in. Sit onto your left hip. Bring your right leg around. Bring your left leg out to meet it. Inhale your arms up, forward fold. So it's an exercise in creating something that by design, by definition, is impermanent. And I didn't see what I'm about to tell you, but I heard this story about some monks. Maybe take your thighs and kind of roll them in a little bit. So sit over onto your right side and roll your left thigh in, and then shift onto your left thigh side and roll your right thigh in, and then recommit to that forward fold. I heard this story about these monks that had spent hours and hours, like 48 hours or like days making this beautiful mandala, and some, I don't know, angry person, crazy person, fill in the blank type person came and destroyed it. And all the people, because there's often a lot of, it's a bit of a show, the monks making these things, people come and watch, and all the people were horrified, imagining that the monks would, I don't know what, cry or whatever. And they basically just shrugged and said, oh well. And that was the end of it. Sit on up. Everything is impermanent. And roll down all the way onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Now we're going to do pigeon on our backs. So figure 4. Put your knees, bend your knees, and put your feet down. Cross your right ankle on top of your left knee. Put your right hand through the hole, lift your left thigh toward you, and grab onto either the back of your left leg or the front of your left shin. Try to let your head rest on the ground as best as possible. Try to let your shoulders be as close to the ground as possible. Breathe. Maybe you can pull your left leg closer to your chest, and maybe you can kind of, using the strength of your thigh, move your right knee forward. Maybe none of that's appropriate. We're going to come into whale's tail. So what I want you to do is keep your right leg the way it is and grab onto your right ankle with your left hand. And then slide your right thigh across your leg so your knees are stacked. And then grab onto your right, with your right hand, grab onto your left ankle. And you may have your knees in your chest. You want to try to pull your knees away from your chest at least a little bit. And you're gently pulling down on your ankles. Feet are flexed, or maybe not, but that would be nice. Release. And bring your feet flat on the ground again. Cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. And left hand goes through the hole. Figure 4, aka supine pigeon. Maybe coming back to those deep breaths. Inhale. Let it go. Holding on to things, worrying about them, doesn't change them. Grab onto your right ankle, left ankle with your right leg. Slide, I don't know what I'm saying. Grab onto your left ankle with your right hand. Slide your left thigh on top of your right. Reach up and grab your right ankle with your left hand, whale's tail. Holding on to that stuff just makes it stress us out, create tension inside of us, dis-ease, right? We literally are like amping up our cortisol. Doesn't change it. Instead, what if we change ourselves and try to find equanimity, find ability to not judge, release here. Put your feet back on the ground, knees bent. Tee out your arms and just drop your knees to the left, turn your head to the right. So what if instead of, oh my God, I'm so worried, this is terrible, and I get it, sometimes it's hard to let go of this entirely. Come back center, knees to the right, head to the left. But what if we breathe and we practice being calm? practice being balanced. That stuff doesn't go away, but we're in a better place to deal with it. Come on back and just slide your heels down. Lay on your back. Bring your arms back in by your sides. Shavasana, final resting pose. And we got 3 minutes to be here today. Unclench your jaw. Relax the muscles by the corners of your eyes. Maybe push into the back of your head and push your back of your head into the floor and walk your shoulder blades toward each other, and then relax back on the floor. And your hands will probably, or your arms will come a little bit wider away from your body. That's normal. And relax back down. It's such a gift to give yourself the time to do a yoga practice. And I know, I live in the same world and the same society that you do. So believe me, I know how hard it can be to justify making time for ourselves. But right, you've heard somebody, I'm sure, say this before, but that's exactly why we need to do it. You know, I was at a conference the other day. I was actually presenting on mindfulness and resilience and self-care at a conference, and one of the people was saying that self-care, mindfulness is a privilege. It's actually what the person was saying is sort of it's a manifestation of having privilege. And I tread lightly because I am, of course, aware that we don't always, there's many of us who, well, none of us have the opportunity to live in any skin except our own. And sometimes, according to society, your color of your skin or the culture you come from may be a little bit more problematic, let's say, right? And I'm not trying to be overly political, but right, it's harder to be a black person in this world than it is to be a white person, at least in the United States. But it is incumbent upon all of us, regardless of situation, regardless of skin color, to take care of ourselves. And that doesn't need to be an hour of yoga. That can be breathing, not checking your phone or doing anything else at a red light. Just saying, here I am at a red light. I have 2 or 3 minutes and I can just sit and breathe. That's self-care. Right? Doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't need to be defined by anybody else, but it's critical that we do it. Start to bring movement back into your body in whatever way feels right to you. And in whatever way feels right to you, start to come up to a seated position. And when you get to seated, keep your energy directed inward for a few moments. And please come to a space of gratitude. Maybe grateful for having air conditioning or a fan, or grateful that it's hot, or grateful that the days are long, or grateful that we're returning to the darkness. Whatever you're grateful for, a person, somebody who did something nice, a belief, please exist in gratitude. It's such a beautiful place to be, and so much more healing. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Namaste.